Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the West East podcast. My name is Amanda, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only Dr. Art. Hi, Dr. Art.
Hi, Amy.
Are you excited, intrigued? I think with the last scary movie that we talked about, I asked you, how are you? Because we were going to get into serious, so I'll start that way. How are you? Uh,
I'm good. I'm good. But
Very
this
good.
conversation may make me, scared a little bit.
Trigger warning. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think we're not going to be showing any clips from the movie.
No, no,
And
no.
I'm assuming because it's not a recent movie, I don't have to say spoiler alert, but I still will, so that we're covered. Folks, today we're talking about Stephen King's 1408. It stars John Cusack. What year did this movie come out in? I don't even remember. Uh,
In 2000s,
20,
something?
yeah, I saw it in the 2000s, 2007 maybe, like around Bulbulia
Even I
and
don't remember. Yeah.
yeah. It's the kind of movie that I feel like I obviously know about, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really develop a love for it until Shivam showed it to me, and now we watch it many, many times. And then after seeing HOKUM, it was like, oh, okay, now we have to go back and watch this movie and talk about it. Uh, is it true you guys watched it a lot? Like when it was like,
Oh,
was it on
yeah.
TV a lot? This is what I heard. Uh,
Yeah. It was
on,
on the
on
TV a lot. And then later on, that time, Wikipedia time was there. So to learn the names and everything, John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, I knew them by then.
yeah,
But to learn more about the movie and all, we used to look at Wikipedia, and in that time we knew that there are two different endings, and that intrigued us the more to find the it was so
yeah,
difficult to find the second ending, and
yeah.
still
And
we
so there's
found out.
actually four. Uh, um, but how did that's awesome though that like oh wow yeah I remember when Wikipedia
Like,
was
I fall in
gaining
love with the
traction.
filmmaking in that movie, the way they have shown the way
Yeah.
they have made you feel, like you literally feel that you are trapped in that room.
Yes, 100%. It's I never thought a room could be so scary. I feel like that's a talent that Stephen King has, obviously. It and we see this in like many iterations of his stories. But this one really threw me for a loop because I was like, it's just a room. But it's constantly transforming. The walls are bleeding. It's hot there. It's cold. Now there's brick where the windows were. He can't get to any other unit. Like it's playing head games with him. The whole scene in the vents where there's like something trying to get at him in the vent, like the corpse or whatever. Um, it was a really good like psychological horror film. Um, Having seen both, do you see apart from the fact that they're both in a hotel, parallels to HOKUM from
Yeah.
1408? I guess it's the
Yeah.
opposite way, but tell me
And
like
they have
one or two things.
they have so many similarities in them also. Like, if you see, the hotel room doesn't play any random things. The hotel room was actually mimicking the subconscious of the Mike, and showing him what he was suppressing or running away, or whatever he was, not didn't want to deal with. That hotel was make room was making him go through that and express or experience that part, and he had to give in, and he had to experience those things.
Yep, he couldn't run from it. And I guess like the idea is that it counts on your ego being so fragile, I guess, or weak that
Yeah.
it'll just cause you to unalive yourself. Is I guess the
Yeah.
acceptable way to say it on social media, or sorry, on YouTube. But uh, the other side of that is it doesn't predict that maybe you could overcome it, right? Or you could deal with your past or deal with your trauma. They're both also writers, just like a small point,
Yeah.
but I thought that was pretty cool.
Both
Uh,
were they used to love drinking.
yeah, both of
And
them,
in this also
absolutely.
he says that he spiked my he gave Samuel L. Jackson gives him as a manager gift of
Yep.
I think a what do you say,
Uh,
alcohol bottle. I don't know
Brandy or
the content of it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he says he spiked it, and he spiked the chocolates, and that's how he gives explanation for his hallucinations.
yep, yep. And then on the flip side, in HOKUM, he was actually drugged. So yeah, that was like a nice like kind of parallel there. They both also don't believe in. Well, it's not clear
He
if
lost
Adam
his
Scott's
faith
character doesn't
after
believe in
his daughter's, I think, I would
death.
say he
Yeah,
lost his faith after her death. Yeah, because she was
yeah,
sick and she. So even if you say that, if you remember the initial conversation between him and the Samuel L. Jackson, he says that there is no God to save us. He says something like that.
yeah. He says, I stopped believing in vampires when I was 12.
Well,
And ghosts aren't real, and there's no God to come and save us from them anyways.
save
That was
us
like
from
some
many.
almost his
Yeah,
exact line. Yeah.
that was showing
Whereas,
his loss of
yeah,
faith.
yeah, and Adam Scott's character in HOKUM kills his mother by accident. So I'm assuming he doesn't believe in God at the beginning. They don't really talk about it in the same way. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
but they
directly like
haven't
faith,
shown it.
but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But they he doesn't believe in the witches, so he doesn't believe in like any of that supernatural stuff. So he probably doesn't believe in that. That's what you assume, right? Is he doesn't believe in like afterlife and anything like that.
But in
Um,
this, he clearly says, the Mike character says it clearly.
yes, exactly, exactly. Like I guess it like is reflective of like it being from a different decade in the 2000s when people could just say
Yeah.
things.
Say things.
Now
I
we have
know,
to have like
I
a
know. Now it's
commentary
there can
and
be objections.
yeah,
We
exactly.
have we have liberty to say everything, but you should be very careful what you say, otherwise you can be accountable for that.
Even me right now just saying unalive instead of what happens,
Yeah.
like rephrasing it,
Oh my God, it has
um
become difficult to
it
communicate.
it's true.
Earlier, it was very easy.
Yeah, it's very true. They were both also warned, right? Like uh Adam Scott was told not to go up there. He was warned about what's up there. The Mal tries, and Fergal. If you watch the HOKUM episode, Fergal is the character's name we forgot. That was the name of the guy that has a good heart. I just wanted to get that on record in case I have this like idea that they'll come and watch these episodes. Fergal, we didn't forget you. Um, just your name. Um, but Adam Scott is warned, right, by Mal not to look in the dumbwaiter. He's warned by the owner not to go up there. He's warned by everybody not to go in that room. And John Cusack is warned so many times, like directly by Sam Jackson. Then he walks around the floor and can't find the room. He ends up back at the elevator. The elevator opens. That's like a warning, like a calling him back. Then the guy comes to fix the thermostat, and that's the last time the door is open. He cannot. The key breaks in the door after that. So he's like
And
given
get
direct
sucked in.
warnings and yeah, right. It gets like, and then that's it, and then he has to go through it. So it's kind of like he didn't go to school, so school came to him. Is kind of how to see that. But
And there was
uh,
one more point. Before that clock
yeah,
started resetting, he gets a call from the help desk, or whatever you want to say, the reception, that are you ready to check out?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Actually, they did. They asked him, and then the next time that he speaks to the front desk, they're not. It's not actually them, right? Like it
Yeah.
hangs up on him before he can speak to Sam Jackson's character, and the it's
And
actually like the room talking to him.
the funny part for me was like, I have watched it many times, but this time it hit me was that, like whenever we call customer center, they put a music and they keep us in the waiting, and you are very important, and
Yeah,
and that was happening to him, and I was like, oh my God, this is horror movie or what is
it was like art was mirroring life big time. They were like, "Come stay at the Dolphin. Thank you for your yeah, yeah." That's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Uh, um, I liked the song, and we've only just begun, and it kept playing and resetting the timer at 1 hour. I didn't look up to see if like the amount of
what
time
is the
was
significance
significant.
of 1 hour? Yeah.
Yeah, of 1 hour, like it's 60 minutes. I don't know, the number six repeated is like a evil symbol for lots of people. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just me reading into it too much, or if it's
So
because
the
Sam
only
Jackson said,
symbolism, number
yeah,
symbolism, what I feel is when he gets that card. If you remember, he goes to the post office and he
1408.
gets so many cards, and in that there was a 1408 comes. don't stay 1408 or something, come stay at 1408, and he
Yeah,
rounds it and he makes it 13, and he says it's
13.
very
Yeah,
interesting, something like that.
yeah.
So that's
And
what
technically,
I.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh, I agree. And so 13 is like an unlucky number. Technically, it's on the 13th floor. I'm
yeah.
thinking the 1 hour time is actually probably because Sam Jackson said that nobody's lasted longer than an hour in the room. So maybe it's like
Yeah,
it's not what happens for everybody, but that was what was in John Cusack's head. So the room was using that to
that's
manipulate
why.
him,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that it
yeah.
kept setting an hour timer that like, oh, you're only going to survive an hour. And he talks about uh, um, oh, I actually should have seen how many hours are set, because if it's nine, then that mirrors the nine circles of hell, right? Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
And he talks about that, we're in the seventh circle of hell, we're in the eighth circle of hell. So um, sorry folks, if someone do the research on that and put it in the comments, because that would be really cool to know if it happened 9 times, or how close we got to 9 times. um, uh, but yeah, like I thought that that was curious, and I really liked the song. I thought the song choice was perfect, because it's like everybody, a lot of people would know the words, so you're singing along, and then you're like hearing the lyrics in a new way. The paintings on the wall, I took note of that as well. 3 paintings. So there's the schooner at sea, there's the children being read to, and there's the hunt. And I feel like all of that is significant, for different reasons. Like there's some like writer kind of parallels in there, like different stories, um, that you can say like the paintings represented. Also, like he's kind of lost at sea when he's like stuck in the room. Um, uh, the narrative of like the children being influenced, like scary stories I saw. I didn't get this from the internet. This is just from like my uh, my like as a fan thinking about it. And then that idea of like the hunt, I thought it was curious because he's like kind of the hunted. In
Hmm.
You know what I mean? The room is doing the hunting. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's what I saw like in that. What other like symbolism, or maybe you gave a really good like breakdown of the psychology of the room for HOKUM. Maybe you can do something similar for 1408 if it's something you prepared and you don't mind, because I really liked how you broke that down in the last episode.
Yeah. In this one, it's kind of similar but little bit different, because they had more symbolism in that. Here it has room for more interpretation, but what I felt was it's like a hotel is a psyche, and where
Yep.
the room is your subconscious mind, where he goes and he thinks that he has, like if you remember his I think I don't know who was that person, but his editor or someone tells him, whom he contacts for 1408 to stay, and they hire a lawyer.
The lawyer,
He
yeah, Tony
says that, are
Shalhoub's
you
character.
ready?
Yeah,
Yeah. So are
yeah,
you ready for coming to New York? Are you ready to, face it or live it or something like
yeah,
that? So he also knew that he didn't process, he just ran away. He didn't inform
yeah,
anyone, he just ran away from his whatever past.
yeah.
So
From his life,
though
yeah,
we think that we have came across or we have processed, or we are very strong, it doesn't bother me, but ultimately in subconscious, unless you process, unless you're okay, unless you are level with it, it doesn't happen at once. It takes up layers. If you see in the room also, there is a trauma loop. He has to
yep,
go through multiple things at the similar pattern in a different outcome also. So
yep,
that's how they have shown us a trauma loop of his, because
yeah,
of his daughter dying young. He And if you see, the room was giving him different type of his daughter's things. Like earlier was
and
the
she's
voice,
closer to him in
then
each
the
one.
dress came out
Yep,
of fax machine, and then his, I think his father or someone, he sees when he's running
yep,
away from that tunnel, he sees that conversation, his
yep,
wife. So the things he thought that he has passed them and it doesn't matter at all, were actually suppressed, and it was the things which were holding him back into his old self, where he
yeah,
was not able to and he had become a person who just wanted to prove everything wrong. Like, I'm not saying ghosts are real, but he was
No, no.
just in the debunk of that myth or anything. He just wanted to prove them wrong, everybody wrong, that he is the right and everybody is wrong. If you
Yeah, he
see,
was so focused on doubt.
he was
Yeah,
very like, he thought he figured it out everything and he knows it all, kind of a thing.
yeah.
So, and that was part of his processing his trauma, which was not healthy. And he had the hotel or the room made him face his trauma, his stories, uh, layer by layer by layer. And at the end he comes out of, if you see in the theatrical ending, he processed it and his wife saves him, and he lives
Hmm.
it on to, understand it.
Hmm. Yeah,
And he, if you
yeah.
see earlier his life, his room was messy. There was a pool table, there was a pile of books, there was everything was clustered in one room. But when he comes out of the other end, they are moving, they are relocating, and they are organizing everything properly. There is a space, there is a chance of rebuilding.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Let's get into the endings because there are four of them. And actually, I want to take a step back for a second and compare this movie. I pulled up our list, our 7 rules for horror, because this is a horror film. So I didn't say we were going to do this ahead of time, but I was just thinking we should probably do this. And then the last one is that good wins in the end, so we can talk about the four endings. But I think that was a really great psychological breakdown, and maybe people can see why this movie does fit our season theme about being real, about, you know what I mean, getting out of survival mode, about uh, taking responsibility, right, taking charge of and checking in with yourself. What is it? Mental hygiene, I think, is these are the buzzwords, folks. But let's go through the list. Okay, so the first one is don't split up. Um,
He split
I,
up from the Samuel L. Jackson.
I was gonna say, like,
He
from the
says in the
beginning.
lift that this is the point where I come unless it is
This is
that time of month.
Yes, 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 where they go and clean it. So like right away he split up. And you could even like take it a step further and say he actually split up from his own family from the beginning of the movie
Yeah.
because he ran away from them. So okay, so he fails at that. Then don't look back. Uh if you take the part in the vent, he definitely looked back. And then that the corpse like grabbed him. So yeah, I feel like he looked back a few times. Although that saved his life at one point because of that like lady or the person with the like wild hair that was like trying to like
Yeah.
attack him. So
But we cannot take this movie as a normal horror movies. It was very
no,
unique of its kind, so the
it's
rules can
true.
be bent.
There you go. I agree. I agree. Plus, we're fans, so we have the ultimate decision here. Um, don't ask who's there. Um, uh, I think he did that. He did that like right away. He did that, and then he actually went through the room to try to find like the maid or you know what I mean, whoever was playing the trick on him. Uh, so uh, okay, so there's that one. Beware of the jump scare. Lots of jump scares in this. Like the reason, okay, so another really quickly, another way that this movie reminds me of HOKUM is I always feel so on edge and uncomfortable when he's trapped in the room and I know the jump scares are coming and they get me every time. Beware the jump scare. The next one is follow the warnings. Um, I don't think he followed the warnings. Sam Jackson
He
literally
actually
told him,
makes
don't do
sure
it.
that he doesn't follow them.
Yes, yes. He insisted. He got a lawyer involved. He did everything possible to stay in that room when he just ought not to have. And he was seeking that out in everywhere that he went. So yeah, okay. So he didn't follow the warnings. Follow the rules of the previous film sequel. Again, it doesn't apply here. So then that brings us to good winning in the end. Okay, so there's 4 endings. I highly recommend people either try to go and look them up, or you might as well just get this on DVD because it is very worth it. And you can find versions that have all 4 of the endings. The one you're talking about, so there's 2 where he survives, right? So that is
Yeah.
kind of like good winning in the end. And there's 2 slightly different versions. Tell me you in the ones that you were talking about, are they both the ones where he survives, or were you thinking of
No,
uh
I was talking about the one I talked was theatrical cut where he survives,
okay, so let's start with
where
that
he
one.
finds the tape and he plays it for just for she says that why don't you throw it, but then sometimes we have to keep the memories even if it is hard, and then he plays
Mhm.
and they listen to the daughter's voice. I was
Yep.
talking about that one. He
Yes.
was more
Okay.
he accepted his process, he processed his trauma and he came out of the other way. It felt
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Now, um, the those are the ones that Stephen King actually liked best. Was the theatrical ending where John Cusack's character Mike survives. Um, the director, I think, actually ended up liking the theatrical ending more, and I think that the reason they went with that was because audiences did not want to see this character go through all of that and then just die at the end. Like that unwritten rule that we put in horror films is not just there because we've seen a lot of horror films and that's what we like to see. I feel like everybody wants good to win in the end. We don't have to think
Yeah,
of the world so polarizing all the time, but hope is very important and
essential.
powerful. Yeah, essential. That's a
Yeah.
better word. So there in the okay, so but in that ending, there's one difference between both of those endings where he survives, and it's so they're in the apartment. She's going through the stuff. She's unpacking. She hands him. He takes the recording. He plays the
Mm.
recording. There's one version where she hears it and reacts
Yeah,
to it. His wife.
his box
Um,
fell on the floor.
yeah, is that she, and that's when she realizes that, oh my god, what he was talking about was like 100% real. um then there's another version where she just continues unpacking, and it's more for him, that he
Him
hears it and
for
he knows
Yeah,
that it's real. Yeah.
yeah.
uh I prefer the one where she like gets to see it too, you know what I mean?
Me too. Me too.
And like, to parallel to HOKUM for a second, in HOKUM, uh, Adam Scott's like Ohm's the only one that gets to see that it's real, unless you count like the scars on his hands, right? But he's the only one
Yeah.
that knows, and so you never actually end up knowing, right? Was it real? How much of it was real? What really
It
happened there?
was, yeah. So there were
Yeah.
many room for it interpretation in that ending.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Now, okay, so I think they're in like the director's cut technically, but the other alternate endings, he does not survive, and
Dies.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so this one would be breaking the rule, but in one of them, do you remember what was the one that you were thinking about where he doesn't survive? You tell it, and then I'll say what the other one was.
So I remember the one where Samuel L. Jackson visits his grave and he sees him behind the mirror of the,
Yes.
like, rear
Yeah.
back view
In
mirror or whatever
the
you want to
rear view
call it.
mirror
Yeah.
of the car. Yeah. Yeah. So in that
The
one, it's
burnt
kind of like,
face
yes, yes, you got it. It's like he becomes one of the figures in 1408. He gets
in
trapped
the
in that room.
1408. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
because
evil
Sam
room
Jackson's kind of like
consumes
the
him.
gatekeeper. This
Yeah.
exactly. So the evil room consumes him, and it's like everybody has to try to move on in the real world, but Sam Jackson like sees him at the end. So I think that ending's kind of cool, but I'm really happy that it's not like the only one, because that would have been really sad. It like it
Yeah.
almost reminds me of The Mist, and I'm not going to get into it because that's such an upsetting ending.
It
Sorry, I'm
reminds
so
me of
sorry.
Drag Me to Hell also.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's a better analogy where you're like,
I
yeah,
was so
oh,
upset. I was so upset in that movie. I was like, why?
same, same. I was like, come on, they did the thing. But okay, so there's that one, and then the final ending, which this one is technically he doesn't survive, but it kind of sits in the middle because his story still gets told. So in that ending, he doesn't survive. They have the funeral, but then Tony Shalhoub's character gets sent the script or the
Script.
novel of 1408. So the
Bind one, yeah.
story, yeah, so he gets trapped in the room, but the story lives on. So it's kind of like a middle ground, right? Between this like hopeless, he's trapped in the room, you see him through the rear view, he becomes a ghost, and it's like, oh, why did he go through all of this? Um, he went through all of it and he doesn't survive. So maybe you could see it as, I don't know, his karma, whatever you want to say, from like he nobody knows what actually happened, but his story gets sent to his agent. So the story gets put out there, but we still will, it'll still become like another ghost story, right? Like, which is what
Yeah.
he used to write in his novels. But yeah, which one's your favorite ending? I think you kind of said it, but we'll just confirm it.
Definitely the first one which I was talking about.
I agree. I agree.
Because
I
there
agree.
are no I love psychology, and there are no psychological things which I can I don't want to go into this kind of psychology.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. And like I said,
And
right? Hope is
yeah,
essential.
but one thing is, in negativity also, one thing what I would say, not anything related to the movie, but one thing is, we sometimes we stay in an illusion that we are okay, but sometimes so many things has happened to us that we just normalize it. We have not
Yeah.
processed them, so in that represents, where he feels, he has the story goes on, but he has actually not there. So we need to
Mhm.
actually peel the layer and understand that are we okay, or we are just making sure, just we are in survival mode, and to reassure ourselves we are saying we are okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think that again, like we talked about this in the celebrity culture episode, but responsibility, taking responsibility, like checking in with yourself. We're responsible for our own self, right? Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
And we have to
I
forgive ourselves for so many things. we
yes.
we judge ourselves very harshly, even I, at least I do.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
might
I'm
forgive
with you.
other
I do the
people,
same.
but when it comes to me, I'm very
Hmm.
harsh critic, and I think I should forgive myself more than
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. 100%. I put
At the
myself
end
in the
of
same boat. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we are trying our best, whatever we can.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like when you grow up and you feel like you have to be a high achiever, I feel like that sort of perfectionism can overtake you. That you're like, oh, if I'm not here, then I have to be so hard on myself because I have to be a high performer. But it's all part of the journey. And like sometimes when you uh, things don't go as you want them to, or they don't go as planned,
It's the
it's
best for
because
them,
it's not.
best for you actually.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, you learn, you grow, and it's because, and this goes like as a question of faith, but some would argue because life is not actually about your plan. We have our plan, and then there's the plan that's for us, right? And that's happening. So uh what does Birbal say? um or maybe it was Satguru, but I think it was Birbal, that when something bad happens, it's good, right? Like maybe that's Sadhguru's phrasing, but there's that whole
So
story of
Sadhguru says that, what he says is, event doesn't have good or bad. You put interpretation to it.
yeah, yeah. So there's that. Then I'm thinking of Birbal. There's that Akbar Birbal story where
Yeah, you are talking about the one where his
he
finger
gets thrown
gets
in
hurt and he says
jail.
it's good.
Yes, yeah,
There
and
are
he
two,
gets thrown in
three
jail,
stories
and
like that.
yeah, yes, yes. But it's like the at the end of it, it's like if something bad
Understand
happens,
what you
it's
mean.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. And I got off the rails a bit because I really love Akbar Birbal stories and those learnings, but um, 1408 is definitely in like my top, let's say 10 for horror movies, because it's like that's a made up list, meaning like it's probably shifting all the time, and I love so many movies that the top 10 is probably actually 30. But it's up there. It follows the rules. It even gives you 4 endings so that good can win in the end, or you can have your whatever kind of ending you want to have, because you have like a 4 to pick from. What's the final word, Dr. Art? What's the last thing? I don't know if we covered everything you had in your notes. I kind
No,
of
no, I
did,
we have covered
but
more than we covered.
yeah. Okay, okay. So tell me, what's the final word on this? And then we will close out for this episode.
So I would want to say, the sometimes the darkest room or the coldest room is not the hotel room. Sometimes it's in your mind. You need
Mm,
to have a hope or a faith and try to unwind the twin, like all the tangles you have gotten through all throughout the years, and then you might see the rays of hope from outside, and you can go out of that room. That's my final word.
yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's perfect. It ties everything with a nice bow, and that's where we'll leave it, folks. Do you like this movie? Have you seen this movie? give us your thoughts in the comments. We always look forward to it. Especially if you disagree that it's not like HOKUM. I really want to know what people's interpretations of this are, and which ending you liked. That would be a good thing to see in the comments too. All right, but Dr. Art, thank you. Awesome conversation, awesome final word. Folks, we will be back again next week with another episode, but for now, we'll say bye. Say bye, Dr. Art. Bye, everyone.
3 for my city, 4 for my city. No, I'm the one who'd go to war for my city. 5 for my city, 6 is my city. Holla at me if y'all vibe with my city. Come try on my city, don't you lie in my city. Symbol of truth, I'll fight for my city.
The West East podcast is part of the We campaign, also known as Anti-East Indian Hate Campaign by Viragya Entertainment. You can weigh in on the conversation in the meantime in our comments section or on our social media. You can also visit www.imshivam.net/w.e. Remember, Vasudev Kutumbakam. We are all one family. Until next time.